What's going on, guys? This is James Amaker II, and this is a PSYCHii interview.
Hey James, how's it going?
What's going on, Eden? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here for real. I'm really excited.
Awesome. How's the music life going?
It's good. It's good. It's starting to really push up. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what's coming up next.
Sweet.
Really.
Let's head on inside and talk about it.
All right.
So, what is your most recent project?
Actually, I just dropped a project called Heartbreak City. It's on all platforms. I dropped it Christmas, but
Sick.
yeah, that is like one of the most proudest I've ever been about a project, like ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
What is your favorite part of the creation process?
My favorite part about the creation process was making those skits because of how like little time it took for us to make it, but like how much work we put into it. So it was just oh my gosh, this place is amazing.
Thank you.
Look at all these good. Can I play this real quick?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. This is. This is dope.
It was my grandma's piano. She gave it to me.
This is awesome piano. Like
Sweet.
This is dope. Yeah. Okay.
When did you start playing music?
I've been around music my entire life. Like my whole family, music, grew up in the church, like all
Same.
that. So yeah, so it's just like this is dope. I love houses that just like are around like music because it like kind of makes me feel like I'm home.
Yeah.
It brings a lot of home out of me. But yeah, this is a dope piano. This is a dope
Thank
piano.
you.
Yeah.
What instrument did you start on?
I started on, well, I don't want to be technical, but I started singing. Like that's what I started on. But like the first instrument that I started, like band, I started on the drums. Like,
Okay,
drums
awesome.
was like the first thing, like drum lessons with my uncle, just like in the back of the church, just practicing, because I wanted to do what he was doing on Sundays. So yeah, it was. But then I kept gradually going. I was like, hey, I learned how to do this. Why don't I learn how to do this? Why don't I learn how to play this? Why don't I learn how to play this? And I'm still kind of like wanting to learn how to play a lot of stuff. But so.
Drums is awesome. I feel like a lot of people don't start there, but it's such an important foundational thing to do. How did you get from your foundation in playing drums to what you're doing now?
I feel is because of like all of like the rhythms and like the intricacies of rhythms, I try to like implement that into the music and like the lyrics and the way that like I put them on the beat rather than just like having it go with it. I want it to go inside of like the beats that I do stuff on. That's why I try to use like a lot of beats that are kind of like all over everywhere, just like different, or sometimes I have a lot of pocket songs too for drummers, pocket. But it's just like creating songs that like have different rhythms that like a lot of people like aren't used to hearing, or stuff that people can easily like levitate to because of like being in that pocket and stuff like that. That's what like that kind of, I feel like that kind of like helped. That definitely helped out a lot. That definitely helps out.
There's definitely a lot of, I listened to some of your stuff and there's definitely a lot of like intricacy and depth to it, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
How do you, like with your lyricism, what is the process there and how do you marry the two?
That's a great question, by the way. I feel as if like, when I first started writing, I was writing poems. Like, I still write poems. But like I feel like that's one of the things that like I feel like can help portray my like visions a little bit better. Also, well, I mean, other than like there's different other ways that you can like record, but like a main way that I do is just like I'll write a poem and then I'll be like, I'll play a piano or like I'll play like a guitar or I'll play something and then I'll hear it and then like it'll just like come to, I feel, but like it's just like that just takes a lot of time for me. But like other times I'll just freestyle.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. There's so many ways to approach songwriting, and I feel like if you box yourself into one, you've kind of lost something. So it's good that you have that open-minded approach to it.
Most definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
What instrument do you usually write on when you start to create? Do you start with a beat, or do you start more with kind of melody?
I start with melody.
Okay.
Because I feel like, well, actually, yeah, I start with melody, but 9 times or 8 times out of 10, I'll have like a beat beforehand that like I'll like be listening to, and then like if I listen to it and then like I hear a melody in the beat, or if I hear a melody that like helps, was it accentuate, helps like push out like the beat a little bit more, then like that's something that I'll do. But like I completely, I feel like I went off topic. Can you ask me the question one more time, please?
That's okay. So how do you kind of marry the two when you come to lyrics and a beat or lyrics and a melody? How do you kind of combine them?
Oh yeah, if it feels good.
Yeah,
like if it feels good, then that's just what, you know, I'll do. Like I feel like not all the time it has to be about like, man, I gotta make sure that this is like gonna make people be like, oh man, this guy is an amazing lyricist, yada yada yada. This guy knows what he's talking about. This guy, yada yada. You know, but I feel as if sometimes I just want to have fun. So like I'll just go in the studio or in the booth and just be like, let's have fun today. Cause like sometimes my days suck. I'm a Winthrop student. I got 7 classes, like on Wednesdays. I'm going through it, but it's okay because sometimes you just need those stress relievers and you put them into your music.
So you mentioned growing up in the church. How does the music of that culture like influence you now?
In the way I sing, I feel like because of like me growing up in the church, me singing in the church, me playing instruments in the church, I feel like a lot of my stuff, or the way that like I portray like my emotions, is definitely like an inspiration from like where I came from.
Yeah.
I feel like when I first started, I kind of like was a little bit afraid of, you know, being like, hey, like, what if I actually like start singing on my tracks instead of just like keeping like a straight pocket? But like now that I feel like the more that I've done it and the more that like I'm like, hey, you can sing, stop being afraid of like what people are gonna think, because it's you singing. It's like if they wanted to do it, then they could have done it and they can do it. But it's just like I feel like being in the church was like that spark that was like, hey, like you need to bring this to like to allow other people to like hear it. Like this is like what's happening in the church. You're singing this in the church, and bring it to the world. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's what I was like put here to do. I feel like so like I just need to keep creating like stuff more like that. That allows people to like be like, hey, this guy's from the church. Like this is where people are like for real. So like so
I love that.
Yeah,
That's really cool. Awesome. So with that, like what led you to Winthrop and what are you studying?
I'm music education.
Awesome. Yay.
Music teachers. We love music teachers. But okay, so I was an all-state all-state choir from sophomore year to my senior year. Sadly, junior year we didn't get to do it. No, sadly my senior year we didn't get to do anything because of COVID.
Okay.
But there's like we got a shirt that's like the one that like got away or something. It's like Friends, but it's like the one that the one that did but yeah, so like, and all of the all states were at Winthrop. So like going to Winthrop and like the scenery there, because it was in March and it was like kind of cold, but it was warming up a little bit. The trees started getting it's beautiful.
Yeah, that campus
like
is
the
amazing.
campus it's just and me just being there, it's just like I needed something that kind of reminded me of home, but it was far enough away that I could like isolate myself and like really own in on what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Without any like outside distractions, but still close enough to home where I could be like, hey, if I need something, or if like I need help, or if like something happened to me, somebody could just drive like not even like 2 hours away, hour 30, just to come help me. But yeah, it's just, man, Winthrop is a beautiful place. Winthrop is beautiful.
That's awesome. And how do you feel like, what do you feel most drawn to as far as teaching music? Do you want to teach in a school? Do you want to teach independently?
I am still in like odds with it because it's like I want to teach a school, but at the same time, like I want to teach at a school, but at the same time, like I have like stuff that like I want to also like win Grammys. I also want to like do this, that, and the third. So it's like I feel like I'm at a place where I have to like choose either one, like which one do I want to do, because like then again, as a teacher, you kind of can't have like that persona of like what I am right now. I get it, I understand, but I would love to like create like my own studio and stuff like that. Yeah, like a where I could like teach people to like that. You just gave me an idea actually.
Awesome.
Yeah. We about to do that. 2020,
Cool.
2024. Amaker Studio, King Talk. I don't know, something. That's about to be fun.
That sounds sick.
That's about to be fun. No cap.
Yeah, well, creating a space where people can learn but also produce their own content is really important, and I feel like we're in the digital age that we're in, have the opportunity to do that where previously we might not have, and you can support your students while also succeeding yourself. What are some challenges you faced as a creator?
Oh man, I feel like when I lost my like grandma, I just like it just completely like shut me down for like years. Not even like a couple of months. It was just like because that was my best friend, low key. But after that, it's just like I kind of lost it. Like everything was just like lost, and that was like really hard for me to like get back to like that mindset of like, hey, like now because she's gone, you have to do it for her rather than doing it with her. So that was one. Obviously, being in college and trying to like balance out the two, that was hard at first, but like now I've kind of like found like the like threshold to like stand. It's like, all right, cool, you got classes from this time to this time, get some food, studio afterwards, and then eat, sleep, repeat. But those are like the two like main challenges that I feel like kind of like set me back. But after like I kind of like I stood my ground. I was like, hey, all right, I got stuff to do, and then just that. But that was definitely one of them, or some of them.
Yeah, grief is very complicated, and it forces you to kind of reckon with things that you never thought you would have to fight against.
Very true.
And I mean, I lost my dad a few years ago as well, and I feel like in that it forced me to live a better life because I am now living in the light of what he would be proud of me doing. And I feel like maybe with your music, you're doing the same thing with your grandma of just like realizing what she would be proud of and like working even harder for that.
Yeah, most definitely. And condolences, by the way.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So what?
That's good. I'm good.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I got deep there for a second.
Yeah.
But what is something that you, as far as like honoring her, what do you feel like you're doing with your music that is like a reflection of your relationship with her?
Just putting it all in there. I feel like her as a individual was like so outgoing.
Yeah.
And I feel like creating music that can reach people just like she reached people is kind of like something that like I always want to keep like in remembrance. Also like just like staying humble because like I feel as if like whatever God gave you, he can take it away and give it to somebody else. And then that's that's the end of it. But I feel like staying grounded and believing like and realizing like, hey, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
This is for everybody else. That's kind of what keeps me in that mindset of like, hey, do this for you, grandma. Do this for Miss Ojeda. You just go. This is what you got to do. You got to do it. If it sucks, let it suck, but keep going. But yeah, yeah, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, you just learn how to keep going despite certain things and honor the people that you love along the way.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Definitely. Actually my first project that I dropped, I like my debut was like in remembrance of her because she passed in like that same like time period.
Wow.
So it was like I had to. But it was that feed Miss Ojeda. But these questions are dope, by the way. I feel like we're just like
good. No,
just going at it.
It's really been really cool to get to know you. What do you feel like with your courses in school and creating music? How do you balance all of your time? That's a lot.
To be honest with you, I'm still trying to find the balance.
It's hard.
It's just like because you have like a semester to get used to it, and then the next semester it's something completely different. So kind of like getting acclimated, like as soon as you get your schedule to like, I was like, all right, cool. Well, now my class starts at 8:00, so I gotta wake up at 6 because I gotta go to the gym, or I gotta do like a walk, or I gotta like take a shower, do all my hygiene, all that stuff, and then at the end of the day, it's like, all right, cool. It's 6:15. You have like 10 hours. I mean, you have like until 10:00, and then go to sleep because you got to do the same thing in the morning. But and then you have homework, other extracurricular activities. But it's just like it is definitely something that I enjoy because of it being a challenge.
Yeah.
And I'm a challengey kind of guy. Give me a challenge, I'll beat you in Wii Sports. I'll beat you in anything. 2K if you want to work in 2K.
Yeah.
Freaking I don't even know what's another My Little Pony. Let's be real. Let's keep it a band. Is that a video game? Y'all need to make that a video game if that's not a video game.
Surely there's a My Little Pony video game.
I'll play it and I'll beat you in that.
Yeah. I think that like there's a lot of opportunity as a college student to like push yourself. It's kind of a crucible of self-realization. And in that, what do you feel like as someone who's diving into the education world? What is your, I guess, theory of education and like a Cliff Notes version?
Cliff Notes, man.
We love Cliff Notes.
Love Cliff Notes. Shout out Cliff Notes. Shout out Spark Notes. Shout out I'm just messing. I can't give away all the
resources.
Can't give it away. They gonna take them. But can you ask me that question one more time? Cause like
what is your like theory of education in the sense of as a music educator, this is my mantra or this is my goal as an educator? What do you want students to take away from you?
I want my students to always be curious.
Okay.
Always asking questions. Always I feel like the job of a teacher is to create a student or to help shape a student to always want to learn.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like the system now is still stuck, or not even feel, it's a fact. The system is stuck in a place where it's like we're still in the farmer, like, hey, around this time, like during the summer, we still have to take care of the crops, so we're out of school. Like we have to like, all right, cool. If these kids aren't doing the test, if they are not passing their test, then they have to get held back. They don't understand. They're not understanding it right the way that we teach them, but we're not going to teach them the way that they need to be taught. But I feel as if like the newer age of teachers are like, hey, this is wrong. Like we're treating our people Like kids, little kids from age 4 all the way up to 18, we're teaching them like guinea pigs rather than teaching them like humans.
Yeah.
And that's like what I want to like implement in a classroom. It's like, hey, you are a person. You are going to learn completely different than the way that I learned. That person right beside you that's probably talking a little bit much is he gonna learn a completely different way than you are. But it's just like I feel like we're just trying to dumb down our kids and just like, hey, if you're not learning it this way, then you're never gonna learn it. And
Yeah.
it's messed up. But yeah, that's yeah.
Especially with music, I feel like there's so many different ways to approach it.
Yes.
And some people, like you were talking about earlier, like learn by ear really easily, but can't read music to
Can't
save
read
their
a lick.
lives, or vice
Facts.
versa. And so it's really cool that you have a goal as an educator to be adaptable in that sense and to let people kind of follow their own paths because there's so many ways to be talented. It doesn't have to conform to this pattern that we've been taught for ages.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I have a question for you actually.
Okay.
What made you want to get into journalism? Because
Oh,
like you
wow.
are a insane journalist. Like you're just like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, hey. Yeah.
Thank you. So I love talking to people. I love stories, and I love being able to tell them in different mediums. So
Gotcha.
for me, journalism, I studied philosophy in college. So journalism to me is just like journalism or writing in any form is just taking philosophy and engagement with people to a whole new level. And it gives me the opportunity to sort of translate your experience into a format that everyone can consume. So whether that's like a video interview like we're doing now, if it's a podcast, if it's someone that I talk to like this and then write about, there's so many different ways to translate human experience into like little capsules. And that's why I love reading the New York Times or National Geographic and being able to take away little bits of human experience and integrate them into my own experience. So to me, that's what got me into journalism and hopefully will keep me there.
Wow. my mind just like blew. Yeah, that's beautiful. That is
Awesome,
beautiful.
thank you. So this is a question I like to ask when I'm interviewing people, especially people from Columbia, because it's a small, unique little city.
Yeah.
If you ever move somewhere else, like New York or LA, to pursue your career, what is something that you hope to kind of leave behind for people who are trying to do the same thing as you now?
The fact that it can be done.
Yeah.
Because South Carolina, I feel like, is such a gate kept. Like, just South Carolina in general. Columbia, most definitely. But, like, the entire state of South Carolina is so gate kept. And I feel like people don't think that it's possible to make motion or to move, like, to make stuff really shake in Columbia or in South Carolina. So like they kind of like go, oh, I'm gonna go to this city, I'm gonna go to this city and this city and that, and they don't even like mention South Carolina.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of upsets me is because there's so much talent in Columbia alone. Like it is like insane. But the fact of like if that ever does happen, like if not even if, but when like when like this stuff like really like blows, I want to make it known that it is possible to do it from South Carolina and still rep South Carolina. Like you got people like John Morant, Zion, like they're doing it right now.
They're so amazing,
yeah, like Ja just had this crazy dunk like a couple days ago that he just like brought that bitch back like this, just right on his head. But I feel as if like it's not being done in the music scene, and I want to be one of the ones because there's going to be a lot of people coming from South Carolina real soon. I am positive, 100% positive. But I want to be one of the ones that lets everybody know that South Carolina is doing it and we are doing it big. No cap.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
I love to hear that. What do you feel like there's some artists that maybe are a couple steps ahead of you that have done a good job at that?
There's you have artists such as like you have people like long live my dog Vino. That guy was like the truth. You have people such as like PG Raw, Young Meme, El Caro. You got Chef Jay Laurent. You got people like Alexander Wright, my dog. That's my homeboy. That's my brother for real. You got people like Stuart Bradley and Rock Hill. It's those people like have been doing this way longer than I have. Like this is technically like my first year and a half of just keep like doing this, but like those people have been doing it for years, and they are like creating like that door that is going to eventually open, that is going to like South Carolina is just gonna go straight through it. And big props to those guys for like being like not just like mentors to me, but like friends.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like those are like the first people that like came to my mind. But you have women artists such as Big Mama German. You have people like Alicia Amaya. You have people such as like Rennie Rucci. Like all of these people that are like really putting on for South Carolina. But eventually, we are going to get the recognition that we deserve, and that is what I'm still doing this for.
That makes me really happy.
Yeah, man.
I want to see more of that for sure.
Yes, most definitely.
And for your students coming up after you and trying to do similar things, I know you said like we can do it, but like what, I guess, advice or challenge, like what have you learned from the challenges you've faced that you can impart to them?
A hard head makes a soft behind. That is like an old saying. Like my grandparents and like before them, they always said it. A hard head makes a soft behind. But at the same time, you got to be hard headed if you want to get it done. Because like sometimes it's not gonna go your way. Sometimes it's not gonna, lean towards your direction, but it will. It's always. Life is always going to be this. It's always going to be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So when it's bad, you always have to anticipate the good coming. That's just how I have to like view life, because sometimes life is not going to be the best. Sometimes it's times where I just want to give up, but it's like you can't because there's going to be a time if this happened that is so bad, like something that just happened that was like horrible, like horrible. I don't even want to give an example. Just know that there's going to be something that's coming afterwards that is going to equal it out, but good, and probably even more. But like it's just like I believe in that. But always gonna be a brighter day. So
that's awesome.
Keep looking for it.
I feel like that goes really along well with my interview with Corey. He's a saxophonist, and we were talking about how like you get the energy you give in the world a lot of times.
Yes.
And so if you continue to put this awesome, hard-headed, determined, beautiful energy into the world, I have no doubt that it's going to reward you one day and come back around to be really positive.
Praise God, for real. Yeah, man. That's dope, man. You as well. Like, all y'all, you too, Pat. Man, this is like this is I'm excited for this. I'm really excited. Very excited.
Thank you so much for coming by today. It was really great to get to know you, James.
I appreciate that as well. Is it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if I like hit the mic or something like that, but it's
okay.
If they heard that, then that would be actually kind of funny.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you're doing in the future, and we'll be supporting you.
Dang, to you guys as well, man. Shout out PSYCHii, man. That's who doing it bigger than PSYCHii. Let's be honest. But yeah, you guys have an awesome rest of y'all's day.
All right, be safe.
All right.